Shalom, shalom. I'm Rabbi Yehuda here at the House of the Prophets here in Sweden, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Havdallah Service. Many Christians will say, well, it was the apostles who changed the Sabbath to Sunday by the command of Yeshua, and that's why they met at the first day of the week, because they read in the English scriptures that they met on the first day of the week. But this is a fallacy because they do not understand the Hebraic meaning of the first day of the week. Acts chapter 20, verse 7, it says, "And upon the first day of the week, when the Talmudim, the disciples, came together to break bread, Rav Sha'ul, Paul the apostle, preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow." Why did he want to depart on tomorrow? Because they don't travel on Shabbat. "And continue his speech until midnight." So, there is a Jewish ritual, a Jewish tradition called Havdallah, which means a separation, where you separate the secular and the sacred, where you make a division between the Sabbath and the other days of the week. So we know that a Hebraic day is from sundown to sundown, not midnight to midnight. So it was at sundown, which began the first day of the week, which it was traditional in Judaism and still is today, to come together for a Havdallah service, where you say goodbye to the Sabbath, where the Sabbath leaves as a queen departing from a home, and you say goodbye to her until next week. So, that's why when it says in the scriptures, in the Brit Chadesha, that they met the first day of the week, you'll know that's really talking about the Havdallah service, not that they met for Sunday morning worship or whatever. That's Nimrod, that's Babylon, that's pagan. They never met on Sunday to worship like that. So, this is the Havdallah service. And I'll read the explanatory notes. It says, "At the departure of the Sabbath, one recites the Havdallah, holding a cup of wine. Either he or someone else holds a multi-wicked candle." So, a lot of people now just use the lampstand, the candle stand, to hold the candle. Or two ordinary candles with their flames touching each other. Aromatic spices, which has traditionally been clove and cinnamon, are held in the left hand, preferably, or they may be placed on the table. So we have all the elements here. We have the candle. Even though we don't have a braided candle, this will do for right now. We have a cup of overflowed wine, and we have a cup of spices. So we begin. "Behold, Yah is my salvation. I shall trust and not fear. For Elohim is my might and my praise, Yahweh, and He was the salvation for me. You can draw water with joy from the springs of salvation, from the springs of Yeshua. Salvation is Yahweh. Upon your people be your blessing. Oh, Selah. Yahweh, Master of legions, is with us. A stronghold for us is the Elohim of Yaakov. Selah. Yahweh, Master of legions, praised be the man who trusts in you. Yahweh save. May the King answer us on the day we call. For the Jews there was light and gladness, joy and honor. So may it be so for us. I will raise up the cup of Yeshua's, the cup of salvations, and shall invoke the name of Yahweh. By your leave, my masters and my teachers. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Blessed are you, Yahweh Elohim, King of the universe, who gives us the fruit of the vine." Now, everyone can choose to take a drink, but make sure that there's enough left so you can extinguish the flame. So next, we say a blessing over the spices. Now, the spices remind us of the sweet-smelling savor, the sweet fragrance of Sabbath. So, you know how sometimes, like, the smell of perfume can remind you of your loved one. You smell that perfume and, it takes you back, to when you were first dating or whatever. This is what these spices invoke. They invoke the love between the groom and the bride, between the body of Messiah and Yahweh. And so we smell these spices, and we remember how sweet Shabbat is. And that fragrance lingers in our noses long after Sabbath has passed. We say, "Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who creates species of spices." And so after this, we all take turns, we pass it around, and we take turns, and we smell the fragrance, smell the spices. And at this time, since it's the close of the Sabbath, the sun is gone down, so it's okay to light the flame. And we light the flame of the Havdallah candle, which is usually and traditionally a braided candle. So we say, "Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who creates the illuminations of fire. Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who separates between the holy and the secular, between light and darkness, between Yisrael and the nations, between the 7th day and the 6 days of labor. Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, who separates between the holy and the secular. So the accompanying notes in this prayer siddur says, one who is reciting Havdallah, or someone else present for Havdallah, should drink most of the wine from the cup. Then they extinguish the flame by pouring the leftover wine into a dish. So, we take the flame, and this symbolizes that Shabbat is over again until next week. And we extinguish the flame. And it also says that in some communities that it's customary to dip fingers into the wine dish and to touch the eyelids with them. This symbolizes that the light of the mitzvah will guide us and it will invoke blessing for the week. Wow. So that's the Havdallah service. So when Rav Sha'ul was preaching on the first day of the week, and he preached way early into the morning, and the man Eutychicus fell out the window and was killed, Rav Sha'ul came down and through the power of Yahweh resurrected him from the dead. It wasn't a Sunday service. It was the Havdallah service where they did what we just did here. And after this, Rav Sha'ul said, "Okay, Shabbat is over. Let's go ahead and let's have a little drosh. Let's have a little message, to end the Shabbat." And he preached so long that he preached way into the early hours of the morning. And poor Eutychicus was so tired, he was sitting on the windowsill, feeling the nice breeze, and whoa, he woke up and fell out the window and died. And so it says, let me turn back here and just read the rest of that in Acts. It says, and there were many lights in the upper chamber. Why were there many lights? Because it was Sabbath. They had to keep the lights burning, the lights going, because they couldn't kindle a light on the Sabbath. And they were gathered together. And there sat in the window a certain young man named Eutychicus, being fallen into a deep sleep. And as Rav Sha'ul, Paul, was long preaching, he sunk down with sleep and fell down from the 3rd loft 3 stories and was taken upon death. And Paul went down and fell on him and embraced him and said, "Trouble not yourselves, for his life is within him." When he therefore was come up again, and he had broken bread and eaten it, and taken a long while, even till the break of day, so he departed. And they brought the young man alive, and were not little comforted. So, this was the end of one of Rav Sha'ul's journeys, and so he's getting ready to leave the next day, so they wanted to stretch out Sabbath as long as possible. They had the Havdallah service, they had that message that Rav Sha'ul preached at the end, because the next day he was leaving. So he was departing. So that's the Havdallah service, and when you read that the believers met on the first day of the week, you'll know that they were meeting for the purpose of ending the Sabbath.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom, shalom.
Welcome the new week.